Hello, this is Naomi Smalls, and welcome back to From Head to Toe. Today we're going to be recapping RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 9, Episode 4 Makeover. All right, up first, the Queen, the Diva, Miss RuPaul. I feel like Ru looks gorgeous. I do love this dress. I like this whole like Laffy Taffy material situation happening. I love this hair. I feel like this is more of a platinum blonde that we are used to seeing Ru in. I do love the off the shoulder moment. And I love how it comes in at the waist and you get that like I love when you can see a waist and then there's like volume just at the hip and then everything else can kind of just do whatever the fuck it needs to do. But I feel like having that waist and then volume at the right underneath it just like makes everything else just look more snatched. If it were me, I probably would not have taken this dress just because of the material. Like it goes to like a column. I feel like it looks a little stiff. If it were me, and shocker, I'm gonna say this, I probably would have had a leg out. Like I probably would have done like a slit all the way up on the left. Her, yeah, her left side. And I probably would have just like had that open. And I think it would have been like less obvious that it was so stiff at the bottom. She kind of looks like a fruit roll up if you like stick it up. Like, you know, the cool kids in the cafeteria that their parents actually bought them shit with corn syrup in it. My favorite detail here is it's such a detail. Rue's jewelry. I love that there's like mint touches in the jewelry. I think that this is so smart. It's sticking with the whole color family, but not being so obvious. Like if she did like more of a Kelly green or like jade, I think it just would have looked like very obvious, but like having a mint touch that still kind of reads as crystal. That's what I'm talking about when I say it's like the feminine touch. A specific eye, I feel like can recognize, and Rue definitely has done that. Love this hair. Stacked, bomb, platinum, frosty. She doesn't look John Deere. Even though she has yellow and green, she's not giving John Deere, and I think that this shade of blonde was a very smart decision. And our guest judges this week are Brothers Osborne. They're brothers. I'm going to refer to them as brothers. The white cowboy look hat and the black suit look. I'm a fan of a black and white cowboy look, obviously. I don't know about this one. I'm actually shocked that this is the straight brother, just because this is a lot more garb and regalia than the gay brother. And if Liberace has taught us nothing, that gays love some garb and regalia. I do like that maybe they're doing drag for this episode. I don't know who the fuck this person is, so I can't even really tell like if this is what they normally dress like. Just like a black and white suited look and two coming down the runway from a straight man and a gay man. They look like what's on top of the gay cake. And now it's time for the runway. This is a very unusual runway. They're going out as trios. So we're going to get into each look. No one is safe. We are zooming in and we are slow-mo for you. The runway category that everyone had to hit the mark on is pop star diva, pop queen moment, pop star trio. You get the gist. Up first, the Hoses, featuring Vanjie, Roxy Andrews, and Valerie Valentine. I have to say, this color palette is so soft, so feminine. I do really enjoy Vanjie's look, but I do not really understand some other elements that are happening. Valerie looks gorgeous. I love that she's in Valerie looks like she's in drag. Valerie is in a ventilated wig. I believe this is a go wig or go home wig. A ventilated wig, for those of you guys that don't know at home, every lace front that you buy is normally ventilated. There's a difference between like factory ventilated and then hand-tied ventilated. This is a custom hairline that is made specifically for Roxy's face. You can just tell that this one is not a factory hairline, because normally factory hairlines are circle, and normally they don't do a really good job at covering your full sideburns, your full like peaks in your hairline, and they normally come to like a more intentional like peak at the like center of your forehead, and it's just a lot more pleasing to the eye. I feel like honestly it gives you a little bit more of like an FFS look. It gives you more of like a realistic look. It's just the power of a lace front can just change so much. You can spend 7 hours on your face, but if you put a dirty, unblocked, lame hairline on top of it, it's just gonna make you look dirty and lame. If you can't necessarily afford the hand-tied ventilated option, you can always alternate your wig to something a little bit more custom to you. You guys are gonna laugh, but I feel like that's a lesson, honestly, I learned from Wendy Williams. She taught me so much about just like the small tweaks you can do to a wig to make it look more intentional for you.
You gotta darken the part a little bit and then lighten it up, Oprah. Just give it a little realness right here, because that just looks like right out of the box and plop.
So always thank you, Wendy Williams. Valerie, let's break this look down, okay? There's a weird situation happening with this like glittery mesh material that they're using. It's a little dated, I will say, like in the state of drag that we're at right now. I feel like this is, to have this be such a focal part of your costume, it's giving a little trickle down. Like it started with Roxy, which she's done it so right. And like I feel like it's been like warped and everything, but now you can see it like at any goddamn brunch on a Sunday or Tuesday. I wish that Valerie was in brunette with the caramel highlights. I will just say that, even though she looks like the star here and the blonde kind of always does stick out like a star, it's just like I do enjoy the cohesion that Vanjie and Roxy have as a duet, and then Valerie just kind of comes and like fuck shit up in her rooted blonde moment. Yeah, I don't love the whole like low hip thing that's happening here, although I do really like it on Vanjie. I think it makes sense. Vanjie's look has the most cohesive to the eye look to me. This looks very Roxy, but I don't know about this whole like Troop Beverly Hills like half cape happening on Roxy. I think was a little maybe unnecessary. I think that the accent of Roxy's like champagne-y mesh moment probably could have been a glove or like a headband or a hair bow or some sort of like, yes, use that trim, but not necessarily having to put like a yard on your back to make it make sense. Especially with long hair, it just gets like tangled up and everything, and it's just like, to me, an afterthought. Up next, we have Meow Meow Mix. And Plastique's dressed like a dog. Totally makes sense. I do love the wide shot of them. It's very reminiscent of like Totally Spies, very Powerpuff Girls, very in line with like the cutesy bootsy vibe of Georges, but with like the anime reference of Plastique. I love that they're all so different from each other. I feel like with a makeover, you either want to look almost like twins, not necessarily wearing the exact same outfit. You want your like hair color and your beauty to either be like sisters, which is very like, you know, similar, or you either want to just like tell a story that's completely opposite. And I feel like the thing that we love about the Powerpuff Girls and Totally Spies is that they're like all separate from each other, but they're all a star. And I feel like this group, they all look like stars, but you can kind of relate with each one of them for different reasons. Plastique, to me, looks the best. Shocker. I never see Plastique in blue eyeshadow, so let's just have a whole zoom in moment on that. It's crazy to see her with a different eye. I never say this, and you guys know I never say this. I love the tinsel in Plastique's hair. I normally fucking hate tinsel, but I noticed she had tinsel for her ponytail in the Pop Girl episode 1 moment, and now it's here. I don't know if this is her new platinum little hat. I love the baby blue fur Cosette poodle inspo moment, and she looks hot. This whole like titty names across her chest that says Plastique. Seeing Georges in such light color hair is something I'm not used to. I feel like I really enjoyed her for the press look when she had like the blonde, slick back, skeleton moment with like the stones. I feel like that is, to me, Georges as a light blonde or a light hair color wearing look. It still has dimension in it, highlights and lowlights. Seeing her here with like just a bubblegum pink pigtail moment is so not Georges in my mind. I'm not saying just because it's not Georges, it's not gorgeous. It's just like not Georges gorgeous to me in my mind. I feel like Plastique and Georges' makeover is giving the least expected drag makeover, if that makes sense. Like theirs looks definitely the most soft. They don't have like such a hard crease, and you can really tell they played to their natural beauty, like Angelique's natural beauty, which to me just reads like Plastique probably had a bigger hand in this process. Nothing against Georges' makeup, but I feel like I've been in the shoes that probably Angelique maybe was feeling, where like once you're around Plastique's energy, it just makes you want to inspire yourself to like cut to such a hard cut crease. Maybe you don't need to put liner in your crease. Maybe you honestly can just smoke it out, serve face, and be fierce. So I feel like Angelique honestly has my favorite face of the entire runway I've seen tonight. That's also not a surprise. It's Plastique. I don't know whose wig this is that Angelique is wearing. I probably would have gone a little bit bigger, but that's just me. And it's not so much about having like the whole wig be bigger. It's just what I said about having the slick here and then everything else big. I know she has like the slick and almost like a bob with like some artsy fartsy on top of it. I feel like the artsy fartsy could have just been a little bit like more grand. When you're working with proportions, you want to balance them out, and Angelique is a big bitch, but they did kind of balance it out with the fur on her sleeves. To me, this is the winning trio from what I'm remembering right now in this very moment before reviewing the rest. But it's also Plastique, so of course I'm going to say that. Up next, it's the Pussycat Hose featuring Chanel, Angeria, and Natasha Bradley. And if you were to tell me the name Natasha Bradley, what comes to mind for me is definitely like, this is the most real name I've heard for a makeover in a while, which I do enjoy. Natasha Bradley seems like she's a girl who gets shit done. For some reason, I think of a brunette. I don't know why. I think of like a brunette and a power shoulder. But here we got a blonde in a AB Abraham choker corset moment. This looks and screams like it would come from a trickle down moment. This was such a moment in drag like a few, maybe 5+ years ago. These like AB corset superhero look. The way that she's walking down the runway, I cannot, and maybe it's just because Chanel is Vegas and I'm doing some sort of weird subconscious pairing in my head, but I'm getting Nebraska Thunderfuck. I can't help but think this is Nebraska Thunderfuck walking down via season 5. I feel like them as a trio is giving me Treasure Island. And if you are local to Vegas and you are familiar with Chanel's work, you know what I'm talking about. Like brunch. This is brunch. This is the feather boa and the sequins and the strappy shoes with the glitter dust on them, or whatever you're calling it. You know, it has like that holographic cage shoe, so you can work the room and collect all your dollar bills. And this is that shoe. And I don't know if Angeria packed this shoe or if she's borrowing one of Chanel's 12 pairs of this goddamn same shoe, because this is the Chanel shoe, mark my words. Angeria looks like she kind of just followed Chanel's lead on this one. And honestly, if I was in a group with Chanel and I knew her makeup skills and I knew her her as a person and how serious she takes life, I would probably follow Chanel too. Up next, the Hose Draggers. We have Nina West, Gottmik, and Anita Blaze. I'm gonna take back what I said. This is the best makeover. I feel like Mick killed the makeup on Anita. They're so painted and soft, and there's something about this makeup on Anita that just like makes so much sense. And the transformation is just gorgeous. I don't know who was the one that suggested these like psychedelic sequin moments, but it actually works really well in three different silhouettes, which is not easy to do. Maybe it's just because they are three different colors that it really helps and ties into that. Nina, I don't know if that was your wig that Anita is wearing, but like, you're so kind for that because I would have taken the lace front pushed away from my face, but this is a makeover. And there's this fine line in between like making yourself look like shit and your makeover look amazing. And ugh, the power of a lace front away from your face, it just really helps. Like Nina just looks really heavy, like not as a, she's not a big, like not in a big girl way or anything like that. It's more of like everything just looks really like it just reads heavy with the high neck and the full coverage and the feather trim, and then like the bang with the wig with the bang and the heavy curls. Everything just looks like so heavy, and the power of a lace front away can just like open up your face so much. But they were very kind to Anita, and Gottmik put a ton of work into this face, I can tell. So Anita needed to show it off. I need to show it off. Anita Blaze, that's her name? Maybe she's the stoner. Maybe she should have been matched with Georges. I love this. This makes so much sense. I think Anita looks like the grande dame of like Scarlet Honolulu. That's honestly what she gives me. She gives me the girl who's booking the queens, and she knows what she's talking about, which is a rare thing for someone's first time in drag to appear like they got their shit together. So props to Nina and Gottmik. To me, the best of the makeover challenge, and that is performance and face and hair and styling and trio, the whole package. Nina West and Gottmik really took the cake. I feel like everything made sense. Everything had a point of view. The hair color was all the same, but in different styles that all like made sense to the queen, and the silhouettes all made sense to the queen, and the beats were fierce, and Nina was smart to wear a bang. I'm just kidding. I don't know what her makeup looked like, but as a trio, they all just looked so good coming down the runway, and there was thought behind it. It wasn't just a brunch look number 3, and they all looked like they knew what they were doing for the group choreography. And that's my top. That's my top. But if I had to say who looked the most cunty stunty, I would probably say Vanjie as a solo. I think Vanjie just looked like top marks, hair, makeup, outfit, body. All right, and that is episode 4 of AS9. That was makeovers. I cannot believe that they're already at this point. This is something normally a little bit later, but hey, we are reviewing, we are recapping, and if you'd like to get the entire review of not only just their looks, but their performances and the lip sync, tune into the Patreon at patreon.com/Naomi Smalls. And if not, keep watching here, and we'll just keep being stunning.